Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? Everybody, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Live on all social media platforms. Even though it gives me errors every once in a while saying that it's not working, but we're still in there. We, I like to give a general, brief introduction to myself, and then I give a lecture, and then we get to Q&A if we have time. But I'm not gonna stay on too long. I got some stuff I need to tend to, but it's all good. So welcome in, everybody. This is the Rich Get Richard. My name is Mr. Richard, your hostess with the mostest, which sounds like cornball shit, but we talk about everything money, finances. We talk about everything when it comes to credit, business funding. We talk about investments. You want to talk about crypto. You want to talk about, anything, funding, raising capital, LLC, business structure, S Corp, C Corp. We here and we talk about all this type of stuff. So come in, ask the questions, sit there and learn because a lot of the terminologies, I see you, sir. A lot of the terminologies that we talk about, a lot of people aren't familiar with and or may not even heard of. So if you have any questions, you can ask them along the way. I try to get to them, but sometimes I have a train of thought, and it's hard for me to stop my train of thought to answer a question just to get back on the train of thought. So generally, I'll always um, just keep going in my train of thought, and then I can always come back and see your questions. But we streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Kick, which is having an issue, but I'm gonna get it working. If you're on there, hey. If you're not, oh well, whatever. It does what it want to do. Um, if you want to help me out, watch this from YouTube because YouTube pays me to be here. Right? They don't want to give me money, and the money amount is not even significant. It might be $20, $30 a day on YouTube, but you know, I can go out and get a nice pizza or something just by you helping. And I see your comments first on YouTube also. So if you watch it from there, it's easier for me to see your comments because it gives me a live feed, and that's just easier for me to see your stuff. Before we get started, I do have if you find these concepts that I'm talking about interesting, you like what I'm saying, you like what I talk about, I have a free webinar class coming up this Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST. So go to the link in the bio or go to however you can contact me. You can go to my website too. It's therichgetrichard.com. A lot of people don't go there. Sometimes you got to put in the HTTPS and all that kind of stuff like that. But you'll get in there and it'll say be your own boss. Just sign up. I don't sell your information. I won't bombard you with spam calls. I'm just gonna, send you a notification saying that the class is about to start. Come through, learn as much as you can, get value from it, and if you want to move forward with some other stuff, we can. If you don't, it's totally fine, right? I've had money before any of this stuff. I just, I got tired of people asking me, yo, do you do mentorship? I want to be coached. I want a one-on-one. I want to talk to you directly. I want to be in a community. I want all that kind of stuff like that. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, well, I'll talk about that stuff too. But for the most part, it's really just a really, really good lesson about money. If you got an hour and you ain't doing anything, just come through and hang out. So, subject of the day is the 4 ways to make money in America. Okay, and a lot of people try to overthink this, or they think they're smarter than I ain't gonna say smarter than me because you might be smarter than me, but when it comes to this money thing, I'm pretty good. So I sat back one day and I just realized that all money either is received or given in one of these four topics. So if you are one of those four, either you need to be the consumer of that, you're the consumer of that product or consumer of that industry, or you the recipient of that industry. And there's pretty much no way around it. I'm not don't overthink it. Don't try to think of ones that are outside of these, even though you're not. because I've kind of sat back and thought about everything really falls into these. Okay. And once you understand that, then your objective is to own one of these four. Okay. If you don't own any one of these four, then you are an employee of somebody who owns one of these four. And employees don't get rewarded for their work. Entrepreneurs and the owners are the only ones that are rewarded in those processes. Okay. So if you aren't the financier or the owner of these four, you probably work for somebody who is one of these four. So we're going to get started on these. Number one is selling something. Okay. If you are a salesman or you are in the industry that sells something, you could be in the fast food industry. They are selling food. You can be in the healthcare. You can be selling health. You in the facials. You can be selling beauty. Fingernails, hair, nails, that's all beauty. Clothes, you are selling clothes, right? You can be working at Foot Locker, you are selling shoes. The person who sells those things more likely are the employee. Somebody owns Foot Locker. Somebody owns this shirt. Somebody owns this watch. Somebody owns this hat. And they sold it to me. Your clothing that you're wearing, somebody sold that to you. The person who sold it to you, the owner, makes a lot of money. The employee does not make a lot of money in those industries. They just don't work. It just doesn't work like that. You ever heard the expression, the boss makes $1, I make a dime? Yeah, because actually generally employee cost is about 20%. So if you add up all the employees' salary, it's about 20% of what the owner makes. Just throwing it out there. So you need to own processes where you sell something. All right, that's number one. Number two is servicing. You can get a haircut, that's a service. You can get your oil change, that's a service. You can get a delivery service. That, there's tons of services in the world. Back to what I was saying, the employees of the delivery service generally don't have any money. The people who own the delivery service make all the money. So you need to own a process that either sells something or service something. Number three is education. Education is like the third biggest industry in America. High schools, colleges, coaching, sports, coaching sports, coaching people how to play a piano, coaching people on, educating somebody on how to do, you can educate people on how to do a karate class. You can educate someone on how to knit. You can educate somebody on how to drive. There's multiple industries where you can educate people and make a living. And when I say a living, I mean a shit ton of money, right? Why are colleges, billion-dollar industries? Because they're in the game of educating. And what's so shitty about education is you can educate somebody, and regardless if they get the message or not, you still get compensated, right? I know tons of people that don't work in their college degrees. I know tons of people who hated college. I met a ton of people who said they didn't learn anything in college. However, the college got their money, and you can't not pay the college fee, right? Even if you got a loan, you got that for life. It's just the way it is. It doesn't stop anything. It's just a part of the process. You have to get educated in certain things. And you talk about education as far as like safety. There's people that go around and educate people on how to do stuff safely. When I was in the military, there was whole divisions. And all they did was educate people on how to be safe or do a job safely. You know, think of like OSHA. If you know what OSHA is just, they're just telling people how to do their job properly. They're expecting and educating. That's it. Billions of dollars worth of industry. So, and the last one is entertainment. Entertainment. LeBron James, basketball. Tiger Woods, golf. Messi, soccer. Cat Williams, comedy. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, movies. Entertaining. Entertainers get paid a lot of money. And then this is where it gets good. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, whoever your favorite actor or actress is, whoever your favorite comedian is, they might get good money. But the person who paid them make 5 times as much. The person who owns the studio, the person who owns the comedy club, the person who owns the theater, the person who owns all these processes that give those guys and girls money, make way more money than the entertainers. And you know, entertainers still make good money. And they're self-employed. But the people who own those processes make a shit ton of money. And then the people who go see them for entertainment generally don't have any money. You know, whenever you go to football games or basketball games, you know, you might get a handful of people around the court. And those tickets are like $5,000, $10,000 a piece. And those people don't have regular jobs. They entertain, service, sell, or educate people. Because those are the only 4 ways to make money in America, people. Don't overthink it. Don't try to figure out other ways. It ain't happening. But what you do with this information is pertinent. This is where the rubber hits the road. What are you going to say? How are you going to entertain somebody? How are you going to educate somebody? How are you going to service something of somebody else's? Now, you could do it 2 different ways. You can start those industries from scratch. You can go out and start a construction company. You can go out and start a sales team. You can go out there and start a comedy club. You can go out there and start a car wash to clean people's cars. Or we can fast forward that whole process. Because you can go out and start these things, but you got to deal with employees, build outs, meaning that you got to build the place. You got to get customer acquisitions. You got to run ads. You got to get customer loyalty. You got to come up with menus, systems, cash registers, POS, point of sale systems, all of that crap. And that's going to take you a couple years to figure out. Or you fast forward 2, 3, 4 years, and you just buy an existing business that already have these things in place. They have the systems, they have the teams, they have the finances, they have the customer loyalty, they have the advertisement, and they have a track record, and they have accountants, they have systems, they have everything in place. Because someone owns a business, they're not going to own it forever. Think of any place in the world, right? Especially like think of a shopping center that's close to you. Okay, we're gonna do a little exercise. Think of a random shopping center near you. When you think about that shopping center, you probably have one or two bigger stores. You might have a Publix or Kroger's. You might have a J.C. Penney's, a TJ Maxx, or something like that. Marshalls. You have the bigger stuff. I get that. But now think about all the little stores at the bottom. Think about the liquor stores. Think about the dry cleaners. Think about the UPS store. Think about the barbershops. Think about the little Thai restaurant there. Think about the pool supply company that's right there. I'm just going through my head and walking down the line. Liquor store, a little Pizza Hut franchise, a real estate agent, a tutoring center, a place that teach you how to code, a GNC, a Pax Mail, a UPS store, a dental office, a barbershop, a pool supply company. Now, all those stores are probably owned by an individual. It's probably not owned by corporate or by some big old wigs. It's probably owned by corporate. Okay? And it's probably not owned by corporate. It's probably owned by an individual. People get old. People get tired. People don't want to do stuff no more. People need to move. People have health issues. People have a multitude of reasons why they don't want to do stuff no more. Right? Maybe they made millions of dollars and they're just done. Think about it like this. Say if you had a business, let's say you're 40, you have a business, and that business has made you $500,000 a year until you're 50. Now that's $5 million. Now you're 50 years old and you don't want to do it no more. You owned it for 10 years. You made $5 million. And now the business is worth $1.5 million or something like that. You can sell it, make the 1.5. Now you up $6.5 million. You're done. How much money do you need, people? Think about it. How much money do you truly need? And people are like, I can't live off $6.5 million. Bullshit. You don't make $1 million in your lifetime now, probably. If you make $50,000 a year, 20 years will put you at $1 million. Say you started a job at 35, you worked there till 55. That's $1 million. You telling me you can't live off 6 times that? You doing it now with way less than that. Moral of the story is, people, all those businesses that I named off in my shopping center, let alone I go 2 miles down the street in that shopping center, 2 miles down the street again in that shopping center, Chinese restaurant, Wingstop, a Plato's Closet, another liquor store, go down the street again, Wingstop, GameStop, Jersey Mike's, Firehouse Subs, go down the street another 2 miles. All those businesses gonna have to be sold at some time in the near future or in the future, right? And what's crazy about it is there's probably a business in the shopping center right down the street from you that has a business for sale, and you don't even know it because you're not even looking for those type of things. You're not even on. It's not even on your radar. It's like your car effect. When you get a new car, you see that car everywhere. It's the same thing. I got a little red Honda. Everywhere I go, I see a little red Honda. Whatever car you got, you never saw it before. But if you bought it, you see it everywhere. It's the same thing. If I told you to start looking for businesses that are for sale, you'll see businesses for sale everywhere. If I told you to start looking for real estate for sale everywhere, you will start seeing real estate for sale everywhere. If I started to tell you to look for investment opportunities everywhere you go, you will see investment opportunities everywhere you go. Everywhere I go, I don't give a damn if I'm going to a club, I'm going to a party, I'm going to a Mac Daddy dinner, I'm going to whatever. I'm coming home from a long day of doing something. I don't care. If I'm driving or someone else driving, I say, hey, whoa, go back. Because I'm always on the hunt. Oh, man, I didn't even know this thing was even for sale. Yeah, I didn't think it was for sale either. I didn't know it was for sale either. You know why the person you would say you didn't know they was for sale either? Because they're not looking for it. Because if they knew that, they would already say something. And then this is what's crazy too. Once you start telling people, yo, man, I'm looking for businesses to buy. Yo, man, I'm looking for real estate to buy. Oh, yo, man, I'm looking for investment opportunities. Miraculously, when people have businesses for sale, have real estate for sale, or have investment opportunities for you, you know who they go, when people, because people always like to feel like they are important. You know what I mean? They always like to make it, people like to feel like they're providing value to other people's life, regardless if they are or not. And if I say, yo, man, you come across somebody with a business or a real estate or investment opportunity or want to invest, let me know. And then as soon as, hey, man, I got my Dunkin' Donuts, I think I'm about to retire. You know what? I have a friend named Mr. Richard. He buys businesses. Give him a contact and pick it over with him. And, sometimes I don't buy everything, but, I do talk to him and say, go through these routes. If you want to sell it through a broker, you can sell it through me, you can sell it through whoever, and we can kind of go from there. So just letting you know that there's opportunities all over. You just got to you always got to be honed in. And if you're not honed in, you'll always have a lackluster outcome on life. You have to be looking for these opportunities, regardless if you got the money or not, because hell, or the credit or not, because you never know. You never know what people will do if you ask. You never know. I have clients or I have people that came to me and said, "Yo, Mr. Rich, I didn't even know this shit was even out here. I learned a lot about what you're saying. I found business opportunities within a week of talking to you. Weeks of talking to me, already buying something. Because they just don't see it, and they don't know what to look for, and they don't know what to say, and they don't know what's good or bad deal. You just got to learn that stuff. It's just something. It's just something that you need to learn throughout life. If you want to get good with money, you need to know how to identify opportunities. If you're not good at identifying opportunities, then you will never have money, because that's all money is. People see opportunities and they capitalize on it. Either it hit or it don't. But that's where the education part of it comes in. You got to know what you're talking about. I'm always constant. Yes, sir. I always try to be. But yeah, appreciate everybody for being here. We hanging out. Like I said before, if you want to watch, I'll talk. Any questions? I got whatever you want. Log on or click the link in the bio. I have a free class coming up Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. It's talking about buying businesses, buying real estate. We talk about investments. We talk about credit. We talk about funding, LLC, business structure. We talk about negotiating. I mean, it talks about a lot of stuff. And if you're interested in that type of stuff, just sign up. It's free. I don't sell you information. I'm not going to spam you with a whole bunch of crap emails and crap like that. Don't do any of that stuff. So click the link, go there, sign up, and then come back or go to my YouTube and watch this from YouTube, because one, it pays me to be here, and it helps with my algorithm if you're on my YouTube. And when you comment, I see those questions first. It's just easier for me to read what questions y'all got. Okay. So let's get to some preguntas, questions. Somebody said, I want to buy a storage unit in North Carolina. So one thing about storage units is that, this is just my opinion though, a lot of storage unit markets are saturated. There's a lot of big wigs in storage unit game. Whenever you go up for storage units, a lot of people know that their baby's not ugly, so they over evaluate what they feel is worth. That's just the way people are. You know what I mean? It's almost like the same thing with a laundromat. Hell, it's almost the same thing with like a car. Like, say if you had a Hellcat, You know, even though I don't really too much care for Hellcats, but if everybody say, yo, man, your car's cool, your car's awesome, your car's this, your car is that, is this, is this, is this. People think because people tell them their car's cool all the freaking time that their car is valued here now when it's actually valued here. People overpay for Hellcats and people get gassed up about their Hellcats. It's not they think that a Hellcat, say if a Hellcat should be selling for 40, they're going to pay 50 for it, which is overpriced. And then they're going to say, oh, yeah, I had this thing for 5 years. Now, and I put some rims on it and a stupid ass sticker. Now it's worth 60. You know, because that's just because they've been told their whole life that their Hellcat is cool. It's just kind of the same thing with when it comes to businesses. Laundromats are like that. You know, people, everybody wants a laundromat. There's 500 different types of businesses out there that I can name just off the top of my head. But everybody want to talk about laundromats but laundromats are overhyped because people are told, man, you got a laundromat, you're so awesome, this is so cool. But there's multiple different businesses that you can buy besides a laundromat. The same thing with storage units. Storage units are one of those things that a lot of people want to get after. And it's because they don't really know what's all available. They just think storage units are good. First of all, storage units is a commercial building. You generally gonna have to put 20% down. And if you want to get into one 20, 30 miles within any major city, all the big dogs and all the big girls are already probably scoping it. And if you ain't got the 20% down, more likely you're gonna have to raise money or get some decent workout with the owners, which more likely aren't mom and pops. And if they are mom and pops, they got bombarded with letters from people like me. Because when I buy real estate, I'm looking for big units. I send them letters and text messages all the time because you can look all that stuff up online. So if you did want to get into those industries, you probably have to go to the skirts. You go to like Midwest, sometimes the country areas that don't have a big population. When the owner operator is a mom and pop place, those places you can get good deals. Any major city with 20, 30 miles from any major city, to me, is a wash for you might can catch some deals, but more than likely, these big companies have sent them multiple letters, multiple text messages. Because you think about it like this, there's companies out there. I'm gonna kind of put you on a little bit of the real estate game. There's major corporations out there, and all they do is buy real estate, multifamily, apartments, storage units, and that kind of stuff. So what they'll do is they'll market to a certain area. They'll say, okay, we want to buy every storage unit in North Carolina and South Carolina. So what they'll do is they go to public record, they search all the storage units, and they send them a letter. Hey, how you doing? My name is Big Corp Investments. I see you have a storage unit for sale. I see you have a storage unit. I don't know if you was interested in selling it. However, if you are, give me a call. Here's my number. They'll send them a card in the mail. No, not interested. Then they'll shoot them a text message. That's public record. Hey, this is Big Corp again. If you're interested in selling your storage units, give me a call. Cool. Then they'll get an email. Hey, this Big Corp again. If you're interested in selling that, and they'll send them a letter, an email, and a text every week or every 2 weeks forever. Because they have millions of dollars to deploy to this. Because once they get one, it all pays for itself. So if you're looking for those type of industries, if you're looking for those type of businesses, who do you think they're going to call first? You or somebody who's been in their ear for 3 years, right? You send out a letter, let's call it 50 cents. 50 cents times a week times a year, 52 weeks a year at 50 cents, we'll call it $35. $35. A text automated system, that's $20 a year. I'll call it all in $250. An email, a MailChimp email automated system, another $20. You all in, you spend $750 a year to market to that person. Let's say you do it 3 years. That's $2,200. You buy a multi-million-dollar apartment complex that's undervalued from a mom and pops who don't know how to value their units. You buy it, and then you raise all the rents from $50 a unit to $100 a unit. You damn near double the value of that property. You pay $2 million for it. Since you doubled the rent, now it's worth $4 million. You make $2 million in equity off of $2,200 worth of marketing. Come on, people. And that's why a lot of those industries, you're not going to come close. You got to sit back for years and wait. And then whenever they do call, let's say they do call you, right? Let's say, for example, you just happen to text them or email them on the right week. Boom. Big Corp and whatever your username is, Pops Investments, right? I don't know your name. I'm going to call you Pops Investment. Pops Investments. Hey, Big Corp, what you got? $2 million cash. Well, hey, Pops Investment, what you got? Well, my credit's not the best. I might get put down $20,000. I got to go raise. Click. You ain't even ready, bro. You're not even ready. You ain't even ready. Yeah, I can give you 3 years to be ready, and you probably still wouldn't be ready, right? You talking about some, man, I got to work on my credit. Oh man, I got to go out and get this loan real quick. No, the big dogs ain't worried about that. They buy that shit for cash, and they taking all that stuff. You know what I mean? So just letting you know, if you ain't got the money to deploy, and or you ain't got funding in place, or you ain't got the systems in place to take that over, sometimes storage units ain't the game. That's just my personal opinion on storage units. Someone say, how do you handle bad tenants? Cash for keys. All right, so someone asked about evicting tenants. This is a little technique that I learned a while back, and this is called cash for keys. There's a couple ways you can do this. This is just the way that I like to do it. So you find, say if you have an individual and they haven't paid their rent in a couple of months, and you're in one of these states that doesn't allow you to evict people, okay? It is what it is. Every once in a while, that's why I tell people not to try to invest in states that are renter friendly. But, sometimes people just get investments in the wrong states for whatever reason. Maybe it was handed down to them. Maybe they ain't know no better, whatever. Say you have a tenant and they're always loud, or they're always multiple infractions. They never pay their bills on time, whatever, right? But you want them out of there, right? They haven't paid their rent. So certain states won't even allow you to evict them. Then you got to go get an eviction notice. You got to serve the people. And then they still got like a 6-month loophole. They might be living in that apartment, not paying rent, or that house, not paying rent for 8 months or something like that. But there are techniques to get people out your home. It's called cash for keys. Okay. One of the techniques that I like to use. So if you have a tenant, I'll call, let's say if you have $1,000 worth of rent that they owe you, they're like a month and a half behind. They ain't got a job. They're not going to pay it. You can't kick them out. This is one of the ways you can do it. You can say, hey, sir or ma'am, I know you're down on your luck. And if you stay here, one, you're going to owe me a lot of money. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you're going to owe me $6,000. I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to win. And then you're going to owe me $6,000. Then you're going to have an eviction on your credit. And then no one else is going to rent to you. You might get 6 months for free, but your credit is going to be shot. You're going to have a judgment on your tax, on your credit, and they're going to garnish your wages if you don't pay this stuff. So we can come up with a deal right now. If you leave this week, I will give you $500 or $1,000 to leave. So if you leave, it won't affect your credit. I won't have to evict you. You take the $1,000 and you go get somewhere else that's a little more affordable. You can't afford the $1,000. Take the $1,000. You might go move in with a roommate. Go move in with a girlfriend or a cousin or something. I don't care, right? But I got to get this place rented up. And if you're not renting it and you're not going to pay your rent, then I will pay you to leave. Generally, high possibility they're going to leave. Really high. I've only had to do it once, but they'll leave. They will get the fuck out of there because they already know they're not going to pay it. So either they can have shitty credit, an eviction, and owe the courts $6,000, or they can leave in a week for $1,000. Now, when you get that place back, it's probably gonna look like shit. Now you probably got to spend another $1,000 just to get it rent ready, but you get all that money back from the rent you're gonna make from the next person. It's part of the game, people. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to learn from it. But I try not. If you live in states that have squatters' rights and stuff like that, places like California have squatters' rights. So to get people out of houses in like California, it takes like 6 months. They have all of the power. I doubt they will leave for 500. Yeah, they will. Sir, you say that because you don't have a lot of tenants. If I gave you two options, one, here's $1,000, leave in a week, or you can owe me $6,000 plus court fees with an eviction and an eviction on your credit, and I'm gonna report this to your credit. So now I'm gonna put your credit up. You're gonna have an eviction, and you're gonna owe the courts $6,000 plus court fees, right? Somebody said, I don't think anybody will leave. Now, if I gave you those two options, $1,000 check or $6,000 bill, which one would you take? $6,000 bill and fucked up credit, and an eviction, and a court judgment, or $1,000 cash. Which one would you choose? And somebody said they won't choose the money. Which one would you choose? Okay, if you would choose it, other people would too. Shit, I would take it. I would take it. I'll just go take my $1,000, take all the crap I got, not clean the place, and go live with a cousin or something until I get back on my feet. Because now you don't even have to pay the rent you was living for. You don't have to pay the money back that you were living for a month and a half, and you get $1,000 on top. Shit, I got pretty much paid $2,000 to leave a house. Why wouldn't I do it? Or have a $6,000? That's an $8,000 swing. It ain't rocket science. That ain't even hard math. Shit, why wouldn't they leave? I would. How do you feel about investing in foreclosure homes in the state of Florida? Hell, and foreclosures anywhere. The state is almost irrelevant in certain areas. But yeah, if you can find a good deal, pop it. But once you start getting so many houses, you'll get out of touch on a lot of this stuff. But yeah, you can make money in foreclosures. If you want to learn more about how to buy foreclosures, I teach you all that. Click the link in the bio, join the free class. It's called Be Your Own Boss. We talk about foreclosures. We talk about tax deeds, estate sales, lease options, bird dogging, wholesaling, sub-2, all of the same stuff that a lot of people out here in real estate, they'll focus on like one specific thing. I'm not going to say anybody's names. I'm not going to crap on anybody's systems or anything, but I've met people and they're like, yo, man, wholesaling is the way to go. I was like, okay, cool. What if you can't wholesale the deal? What do? Don't do the deal. You know, you could have just substitute that. Oh, I don't deal with substitutes. Oh, okay, cool. So you're gonna leave money on the table? Or you meet people that all they do is substitute stuff. Okay, you're gonna flip this. Oh, I don't do flips, but this is a perfect flip. Okay, I don't do that. So you leave money on the table? Oh, this is a perfect bird dog deal. I don't do bird dogging. I don't got time. But there's free money on the table, right? It's almost, I always use the Batman utility belt theory, right? Batman has a utility belt for everything. If something comes up, he got the smoke screen, he got the bat net, he got the batarang, he got the shark repellent, he got damn marbles that pop tires. He always got something on his belt for every situation. And that's how you need to be in this money thing. If a situation comes up in real estate, especially real estate, if you don't, if people are going to bring you problems, that's all real estate is. People bring you problems. I'm going to get foreclosed on. I'm going to lose my house. I ain't paying my taxes. I need to move. I can't afford it. Those are all just problems. That's all foreclosure, estate sale. Someone died. It's just problems. Tax deeds, foreclosures, sub-2. It's just problems. If you don't know how to handle every problem that comes up in real estate, then you are doing the people that you want to service a disjustice, and you're doing yourself a disjustice. If you're going to get in real estate, know them all. Because if you know all of them, then you can help everybody who calls you. When people call me and they have real estate problems, boom, I'm on it. I'll talk to you for 3 minutes and I know exactly what to do. 3 minutes. How much equity you got? Do you owe on the home? What state are you in? What have you started the pre-foreclosure yet? Have you got, how many letters have you got fair? Have you, how much you owe in taxes? When was the last time taxes was paid? How much you owe? Like, boom, boom, boom. Once I hear that, I already know what to do, right? Do you want the house or you don't want the house? If you do want the house, you got to do this. If you don't want the house, you can do this. You want to cash out your equity, you do this. You want to damn transfer the equity and not pay capital gains tax on that? Let's do this. You open for seller financing or owner financing? Cool. Let's do this. If you're not, cool. Let's do sub-2. Let's do lease options. Let's do any of that stuff. You just got to know what you're doing, people. Got to know what you're doing. Somebody said, what is some good businesses to start with as a first business to buy? Could you give me some examples? So there's tons of businesses that are out there for sale. And a lot of times whenever you're looking at businesses, you almost got to step back and ask yourself, can I do this? Because once you take a step back and you look at it from your perspective, I can give you 1,000 businesses off the top of my head, but is that good for you? You know, if it makes sense to you and if it makes sense financially, then roll with it. Somebody I know, he wanted to buy, he was looking for businesses and he saw one for sale. It was a flower boutique. Now this guy is a manly man, younger dude. And it was a flower boutique. The mom owned it. She died. The son was selling it for his mom. And he met the son, talked for 5 hours. They wanted $150,000 for it, and it produced like $120,000 a year in cash flow to the owner. So a business cost $150,000, and he was making $120,000. And he asked, "Well, how'd you come up with this price?" He said, "Because that's just what I feel like it's worth." That's what I feel like it's worth. But that shit was so undervalued, it was ridiculous. And then he texted me or called me and said, "Yo, what should I do?" hit him with the owner finance. Hey, would you take payments over time for this? He said, yeah, of course. How much you want down? I forgot what it was, but he popped that. He bought that in 3 weeks. Now, I don't know you from a can of paint. You look like a younger guy, but a flower shop is not on my radar. But for $150,000 for $120,000 return every year, it will be on my radar. It will be on my radar. You know what I mean? If I purchased a floral shop that I didn't have to work at, that already had employees, systems, teams in place, would I buy it? Yes. My very first business was a tanning salon. I'm black as night. To let you know how much I knew about tanning was an understatement. You probably, when I bought this, or when I was in the process of buying it, you could probably tell me more about tanning than I knew. I just want to throw that out there. Do I look like the type of person to own a tanning salon? But I did, and it made me good money. 4 years, and then I sold it for good money. But just throwing that out there. Someone said, what's a good first business to buy? I don't know. Whatever you want, right? Mine was a tanning salon, but I made it work, right? I knew how to deal with systems. I know how to deal with teams. I knew how to sell shit, and I just went for there, right? I looked at the place and I said, yo, this place is a dump. Hell, at least I can do is clean the place up and run some cheap, shitty ads. All right, well, I made more money. You know, it's something to throw out there. How much did I spend on my first one? Good question. My first one was $140,000. $140,000, and I paid cash for it, which I shouldn't have paid cash for it, but I didn't know no better. I did a couple of real estate deals, and I had money sitting around, so I spent $140,000 on it, and it made $90,000. It made $90,000 a year after. That's what I made. So after the employee costs, after salaries, electricity, water, cable, whatever that's attached to that, all the overhead, when all that overhead was paid, said and done, I made $90,000. And this is what's crazy about it. It had no subscription service. So first thing I did is about 3 months in, I offered subscription service. I said, hey, how much is a regular tan? We'll say if it was $29. So I said, okay, this is what we'll do. $29 one time, or you can pay 59, or what was it? Not 59, 49. You can pay 49 a month and come as many times as you want. And then I incentivized the 3 girls that worked there. I incentivized them. Whoever sold the most subscriptions, I would give them a $500 Sephora gift card. 500, 250, 100. $500 Sephora gift card. Whoever could sell the most subscriptions. 2 months, I forgot how many I had. It wasn't 300. It was a little over 200. 200 monthly subscriptions of $50 a piece. Start doing the math on that. I made more money in subscriptions damn near than I did just doing regular tans of walk-ins, just off the subscriptions. Then, clean up the place, paint, fix some of the booths, made it more ambiance, and then we gave out free tanning lotion. And I said, why? Because that's just the way we did it. Not up in here. So I started selling bottles of tanning lotion. I did what's called a white label. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But in theory, white label is when you take a product that has no label on it. All the richest people in the world do it. Kim Kardashian probably does it with her lipstick. Khloe Kardashian does it with lipstick. Rihanna does it with her lipstick. So, for example, there's a lipstick company in China. We'll call them Mr. Lips. Mr. Lips makes a red lipstick, and he'll sell that lipstick to you for $0.25. You take that lipstick, you buy it in bulk, and you take that lipstick and you put Kim Kardashian on it, or Dash, or Rihanna, or Lady Gaga, or Ariana Grande, right? Or Selena Gomez. And then you take that same quarter lipstick, you put it in damn Sephora for $19.99. It's just a white label. It's just blank. So you find your white label tanning stuff and you put your logo on the shit, you sell it for $10. I'll buy them shits for $1 overseas. I'll sell them for $10. And then they, I had to put in a POS system because they didn't even have that. All thing they had, all that they could charge is for like tanning. It's like, yeah, because y'all giving away fucking lotions for free. So I started selling all that stuff, towels, cleaning supplies, all that stuff. You want to clean the tables off before you get in there, right? We clean it for you, but you want to clean your own stuff? Cool, here you go. You want tanning lotion? Cool. We got multiple different kinds. We got kinds that smell good. We got stuff that do this. Shit. After about a year and a half, I went from $90,000 a year to about $180,000 a year. Cash flow to me. Boop, 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 boop. And if you know anything about buying and selling businesses, if a business is absentee and it's making almost $200,000 a year, you can sell that shit for a lot more money than I paid for it. Even though I gave them a discount because I just wanted to get rid of it because I didn't really know what I was doing. But mind you, I'd rather not know what I'm doing, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, than know what I'm doing, not making shit. Because that's the game, people. That is the game. So white labeling most of the products that you sold in your business? Yes. So you said that the business for 4 years, it $360,000 business. How much would you sell it for? White labeling is smart. Like the subscription-based business is more profitable. Yeah, all of it's profitable. You just got to know what you're doing. You just got to set it up. But if you want to learn more about these processes, I can walk you through the whole thing, because not evaluating the business is more than just what it brings in. You have to kind of understand the dynamic, and I break all that stuff down. Click the link in the bio, join the free class. I have one Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. Sign up, come through, and we'll go from there. Someone said, how do I feel about vending machines? One of my very first businesses was vending machines. I had seven of them. But vending machines command a lot of time. The tanning booth was my first absentee business. Vending machine, I started that from, I started from 2 units. Because I used to work at a place, and when I was working there, it was a guy that used to come in and they never had snacks. I mean, the vending machine was constantly empty. And then one time I saw the guy and I was like, man, damn, about time you fill this thing up. He said, yo, man, I'm just busy. I said, well, do you not have time to do it anymore? He said, no. I said, you ever thought about selling it? He said, yeah. I just haven't found anybody to do it, sell it to. I said, shit, I'll take it. How many you got? He had 3, but one of them was like it was a location, but he did nothing with it. So he had 2 operational and 1 non-operational. And I said, I'll take them all. Right? I forgot the price. This was 10 years ago. Then I started making money. I did about an hour. I stopped mine on Mondays and Thursdays. Mondays because you get all the money from the weekend, And then Thursday, you get prepared for the weekend. I used to go to Sam's. I used to drop about $2,500 to $3,000 every month at Sam's Club. I was bringing in, after everything was paid, said and done, I was bringing in about 50, 60,000 a year, which is good money, but you're devoting a lot of time to it. For every machine is about an hour. So you have a half an hour to get to where you are, and then a half an hour to stock. When I end up said and done, I think I had 7 machines or something like that. 7, 8. I don't remember. 7. I'll say 7. So I would go to the place, take a half an hour, stock up all this damn this stuff and this little cart, take it in there, load it up, collect my money, check the machines for anything wrong, and then go to the next one. It would take me 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the location. I'm on about a 45 minutes to get there, service, and go out to the next one. I just average it about an hour. Sometimes it just take longer. Depends on what I was stocking. The sodas suck. I hated sodas. But yeah, it made decent money. But just note that 2 days a week, maybe 1 day a week, you're going to be gone about 8 hours, right? And if you don't service, no, you don't get paid. Sometimes it'd be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, filling up sodas. Scared as hell, think you're going to get robbed. Because, $200, $300 cash to a crackhead or a junkie, that's some decent money, man. Just letting you know. But yeah, vending machines are good for me in my stage now. I wouldn't do it, but they're good for a starter person. Yeah, if you just want to get into something and make a little good money on the side, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 if you got a decent amount. I was probably making about $10,000 per machine, about $8,000 a year per machine. But things were way cheaper back then. I look at these vending machines now; they charge fucking $1.75 for a bag of chips, and I'm just like, damn, this is rough. Or whatever they're charging, $1.75 for a Snickers or a candy bar. I was a little cheaper because I wanted to. I really didn't want to raise the prices. But I tell you what, when I got my first Monster, I started selling Monsters. Oh yeah, that shit was nuts. I couldn't keep that shit stocked. I could not keep it stocked. But yeah, that's a good question though. Yeah, but if you find something, you can find what you call this for sale all over. You just got to go look for them. I started free cycling. I'm still in the beginning stages though. Yeah, free cycling is where it's at, man. I teach my mentees how to do free cycling all the time. And sometimes I have contests with them and I say, hey, let's do a free cycle competition. Whoever free cycles the most in the next week, I'll send them $500 cash if you can beat me. But they never do. It's not even close. Well, for one, I got the time to do it. And two, I'll spend, I can go out and make, if I free cycle, I can go out and raise, I probably can get about $500 to $800 a day free cycling. And when people tell me they can't do it, I say, I call bullshit. I call bullstool. There's tons of money out there in free cycling. For those who don't know what free cycling is when you take money, when you take an object, you go on like Facebook, Craigslist, OfferUp, and you just search the word free, and or you search items that are like extremely discounted. I'll use couches as an example. Let's say if there's a sectional or even a TV, let's say a sectional couch. Let's say the sectional couch is $50 because they have to move out of the country. Or they say it's free because they bought a new one and the new one's coming this week. The couch is fine. People just want new shit. I don't know why. They just want new stuff. And you take it off their hands for free. You take that. I'll take pictures of it in their house. I'll take sometimes I'll take some stuff to wipe with and I'll just wipe it down. And I'll take pictures of it right in their house. And I'll put it right back on Facebook, right back on Craigslist, right back on OfferUp. $500 plus delivery fee if needed. Might take some time. Sometimes it take 3, 4, 5 days, a week or something like that. But you'll get bites. I remember I had a competition with my community, and I said whoever raised more money than me, I'll give them $500. And they say bet. My first day, flat screen, 75-inch 3D TV for free. My first day looking, flat screen TV with remote. I sold it for $400. It was $400 plus $50 delivery fee, but they gave me $350 with the delivery fee. So I lost $100, but it was $350 to drive a TV that I got for free up the street. Right? Let's say you take 20 minutes to pick it up and then 20 minutes to deliver to somebody else. That's almost $400 or $500 an hour. Now, by a show of hands, who in this chat or who in this community or who's listening to me make $500 an hour? I'll wait. And then people say, oh, I don't got time. No, you just choose not to have time. You don't make $500 an hour. And then I did the same thing with a treadmill. That same weekend, I started Friday. Saturday, I got the TV. Saturday night, I got a treadmill. I took the treadmill, sold it for $100. I had the treadmill in my car. I ain't even unloaded yet. And I took it to somewhere else. A washing machine and a washer and dryer. I did $300 plus delivery. So $100 for the treadmill, $300 for the washer and dryer, and then $350 for the TV. I'm up $800 damn near over the weekend. $800. Let's do some simple math, people. Let's say if I spent collectively 6 hours doing this shit. $600, I'll say 8 hours just to make the math easier. I've spent 8 hours that weekend to make almost $800. That's $100 an hour. Now, by show of hands in the chat, whoever's watching, who in here makes $100 an hour? Tax-free, after taxes. I'll wait. And when people say, oh, I ain't got no money, but I ain't got no time. No, dog. You just sitting around watching The Bachelorette or Shark Tank or football. I bet you watched that fucking game this weekend. I bet you watched LeBron James. I bet you watch baseball. I bet you watch whatever sporting events going on. But you can't get your ass up and go make $400, $500, $600, $800. I don't know. And that's just that weekend. I could do that every weekend. $800 a week times 4 weeks. That's $3,200. Some of y'all don't even make $3,200 a month after taxes. Say if I did it full time. That's double. That's $6,400 a month? That's $70K a year, full time. I taught these one guy how to couch free cycling. They took that free cycling motto and did it with couches. All they do is sell couches now. They got them a warehouse. They sell the couches they get for free or pennies on the dollar to the warehouse. They open the warehouse on the weekend and say, hey, I like this couch on Facebook. Can I come look at it? Yeah. Come look at it on Saturday. Come look at it on Sunday. And those are the days they're open. So they go pick up the couches all throughout the week. And on the weekend, they sell the ones they get for free. It's almost like a used couch warehouse. These guys make $150,000 each a year flipping couches. $300,000 a year flipping free couches. Hell, I just explained to you how to make $70,000 free cycling random shit part-time. People don't want to hear it. People think they understand this money thing, but people don't really understand. There's a lot of free stuff out there with stains on it and damage. Okay, but don't take that stuff. You know, this is I'm gonna put you on another logic too. Any problem that you give me, I will give you a solution. If I go to somebody's house and it looked like shit, I say, you know what, sir? I'm good. I can't do nothing with this. I thought it was gonna be a little nicer than I thought. You have a good one. Right? Can't hit a home run every time. And even if it did have stains on it or did have some damage to it, and you're selling it for 500, sell it for 200. You still can take it. Somebody want it. You can't clean stains. We too good to clean now. Now, if there's some blood or some shit, okay, cool, I get it. I don't want to deal with that. But some soda, you can't clean that. You can't OxyClean that. Shit, brother. You better than me, then, man. Because I'm trying to get this money. I'll damn near take anything. It's definitely a mindset. Yeah. You just gotta want to do it, man. That's just free cycling. There's tons of different ways to make money out here, people. Tons of different money. Tons of different money out here. Someone said, I'm interested in getting more information about absentee businesses. I'm currently a college student. Only save and pay I got. If you was in my situation, where would you go? Yeah, click the link in the bio and join the free class. Yeah, everybody's situation is different. I don't know your situation. I don't know. You say you in college. Hell, I met 40-year-olds in college. I don't know. I don't know how old you are. I don't know your financial situation. I don't know if you're working. I don't know if you want to own a business, if you currently have a business, if you want to start a business, if you have the credit, if you have the funding, if you have any of that stuff, right? But anybody who wants to learn more about these processes, link in the bio, free class Wednesday, 9 p.m. And a lot of times when I come on here, I actually enjoy sitting here talking about money to people because it's just, right? I sit there and talk to people in my family and stuff like that, but they don't want to hear this stuff all the time. At least you guys want to listen to me. But the way I'm talking to y'all guys is the way I talk to everybody, right? And that's all I want to do is talk about money. Money, 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 money. And some people find that annoying. Especially, it's kind of weird. People who really don't have a lot of money never want to talk about money. It's kind of funny how that works. But yeah. What's happening, sir? I see you. So someone's talking about real estate. Yeah, there's multiple ways to make money in real estate. Multiple. You can get into, someone said something about auctions. You can get into that. You can get into, you can get into a lot of different stuff when it comes to real estate. It just depends on what you want to do, right? One thing, first of all, if anybody ever wants to learn from me, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to educate you. Because I hate the term, you don't know what you don't know. But if there's a better way to skin a cat and there's something that you can do that you probably never heard of, and it's easier for you to comprehend and to get behind, then you need to be educated on those different systems, right? Just like when you talk about real estate, you probably never even heard of a sub two or a subject to. You may not even heard of a lease option. You may not even heard of owner financing or seller financing or seller carry or seller carryback. Or when it comes to investing, you may not even heard of ETFs, mutual funds, 401ks, IRAs, TSPs. You know, you might not even heard of high yield savings account or security bonds or junk bonds or any of that stuff, but you need to understand all of these different things, the terminologies, and when would you go for these type of assets. And then you can sit back and say, wow, I'm educated on those things. I know what he's talking about now. So when I get to talking about stuff, if I say someone probably, like if I told you exactly what ETFs are, and I broke down how good or bad they are, and someone says, yeah, I'm thinking about cashing out my 401k and getting into ETFs. What are your thoughts on it? You already know the answer to the question because you know what a 401k is, hopefully, and then you can understand the benefits, pros and cons of an ETF. ETF has higher returns. However, if you get a Roth 401k, you don't have to pay taxes when you withdraw when you're 62 and a half. So what do you want? Do you want tax savings or do you want a lot of gains and you'll deal with the taxes later? But if you knew what they were, then you can go from there. Say word. What's going on? What's my opinions on FBA? Oh, hold on, let me help you out. Amazon FBA? That's my opinion on Amazon FBA. I'll give you my Amazon story in a nutshell. I'm gonna keep it short because I don't want to talk all day about it. There was a guy I knew. He owned a business. He filed for bankruptcy on the business, and he had a crap ton of inventory. I mean, truckloads of inventory that he already prepaid for. So he ordered them, but he filed bankruptcy. The bankruptcy went through, but the goods that was supposed to come, the goods came in, so he didn't have nothing to do with it because the store was already closed. So he was trying to sell this stuff for pennies on the dollar. And when I tell you guys, this guy had truckloads, like lifted up, truckloads of this stuff. I had to go get multiple storage units just to put this shit in. That's how much stuff he had. I was buying stuff, pennies on the dollar. Pennies, right? I want you to say, I'm going to give you an example of something. Let's say this charger, right? Let's say they're selling for $3 for one. Now, so let's say they're selling for $5 for one. Let's say they're selling for $8 for two. Okay? And I paid a nickel. Okay? Or a dime or something like that. I said, well, shit. Surely to goodness, I can make some money off this. Right? I get it, I get it for a nickel, shipping $3-4 or something. I sell two for $8. I make $3 off every transaction, $4 off every transaction. I mean, shit, I got it made, right? I got 10,000 of these. 10,000 divided into two, that's 5,000. 5,000 times $4 a piece, that's 20 grand. Checkmate. That's too easy. Shit. Shit. You shitting me, man. You are shitting me. I tried every route that was possible, right? Self-packing. I've tried it all. That Amazon FBA destroyed me. And I told myself, I said, yo, who the f is making money off this? Nobody. There's no way in hell someone's buying something from Taiwan for $5 and then selling it for $10, making a $5 spread with shipping, Amazon fees, packing fees, servicing fees, and all that kind of crap, plus taxes. There's no way in hell they're making money, right? I was getting this stuff pennies on the dollar. Pennies. I had 6 items and I was getting them pennies on the dollar. One item was selling for $40. I had about 200 of these. 200 items for $40. I paid $2 for them. I say, Doc, this is $38 spread. I'm finna kill. I barely broke even, Doc. So anybody selling y'all that Amazon FBA shit, that's just trash. There's no way. There's no way. I'm calling the spade a spade. You take it at face value. You do what you want to do. It is what it is. Someone said, I heard you crazy about grills and Hellcats. Oh, man, don't even get me started. You know what? I was looking on Facebook the other day, or social media, and I seen a dude on there talking about, yo, man, I put my grill on layaway. A couple more payments, I can get it out. A fucking grill. You financed teeth. Fake gold teeth. You financed or layawayed fake fucking gold teeth. We doomed, people. We doomed. Some people they never gonna get it. Some people will never get it. And then what's crazy is these kids nowadays, all they want is Hellcats. You ain't got a Hellcat job, guy. You ain't got Hellcat credit. You ain't got Hellcat money. You can't be the king of the block at 19 years old. It ain't happening. All you're going to do is finance your death. It's like a death sentence. You're stuck in this car from 21 to 28, and you're spending $700, $800, $1,000 a month plus insurance. You're probably at $2,320. You're at $1,300. If you took $1,300, drove you a shit box for 6 years, you take that $1,300 and invest it in a compounding interest account. Hell, I'll do the math. And all you got to do come on, dog. Here we go. So you had $1,000 Hellcat payment plus insurance. We'll call it $1,300. You started out at 22 years old. You didn't get the Hellcat. You drove a Honda that had 3 doors and a busted window, right? You just sucking it up. You're gonna wait from 22 to 28, 6 years. You take that same $1,300, right? You start off with zero. You know, you put that money into a compounding interest account every month, 13 hondos, right? You do that for the 6 years, 22 to 28, okay? 6 years. You would have $144,000. Now, you take the $144,000 and you do what? Nothing. Not a damn thing. You do zero with that money, right? I'm doing it on the calculator, people. For those who can't see it, I'll show them. You start out with zero for 6 years. You put $1,300 a month into a compounding interest account. You have $145,000, right? Then you take the $144,000, okay? And you don't do nothing else. Now, if you wanted to, you go buy a stupid ass Hellcat if that's what you want, right? So from 28, we'll say till 60. 28 to 30, that's 2 years. 30 to 60, that's 32 years. 32 years, you just set that $140,000 stupid ass mistake of yours and leave it in the bank. You invest nothing else into this account. Nothing else into this account. You put $144,000 in a compounded interest account and let it sit for 32 years. Anybody want to guess how much money you would have? It's almost 100 people on here, right? Between TikToks, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Kick, and TikTok. At 22 years old, you didn't buy a Hellcat. You saved up for 6 years, the Hellcat payment. That'll be $145,000 from 28 till 60. You didn't invest anything else, right? You went out and bought a Hellcat now because you got to buy a better job, but who cares, right? I don't care about none of the other investments you got. From 28 to 60, you lived your life. You forgot the money was even in there. Somebody said 2.1 million. Good guess. Someone said 1.5 million. Good guess. Someone says $4 million. Good guess. How much interest? ETFs are about 14.4 now. So 144,000 over 32 years. Someone said 11.6. $144,000. 32 years, 14.5% interest, which is the average ETF on the open stock market over the last inception or the last 10 years. No other contributions, will be a little over $11 million. So now what would you rather have? $11 million when you're 60 or a fucking Hellcat when you're 22? I'll wait. I'll wait. Well, I can't have no fun when I'm 60 years old. For $11 million, I'll find some fucking fun. I'd rather have $11 million when I'm 60 than have a Hellcat at 22. I promise you that. I'm not worried about no bills. I'm not worried about no houses. I can travel all over the world, people. I can do any and everything I fucking want to do. You're not tied down anywhere. You can do whatever you want. And then this was crazy. The interest on that is about $1.4 million a year. So just in interest, you make about $1.4 million. You can live off the interest. You take the $11 million, you put it in a trust. And then your kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids can live off the $1.4 million the rest of their life. As long as they never touch the $11 million. What sounds cooler, that or, yo, bro, when I was 23 years old, I was a king of the block. I used to do donuts in the parking lot. And yeah, that shit was cool as fuck. That Hellcat cost you $11 million with inflation. Shit. But hey, some people say, I want the Hellcat. You can have the Hellcat. Give me the money. Someone says, do I mentor? Yeah, I got a free class coming up. Link in the bio. It's called Be Your Own Boss. Sign up. It's free. I don't email you. I don't spam you. We talk about investing, real estate, businesses, all that kind of stuff, right? We talk about a lot of different stuff in the free class. come through, learn, give your feedback. Let me know what you like about it, what you don't like about it. And you can interact with me. If you're feeling it, you're feeling it. If you're not, you can go to sleep tonight and think to yourself, man, that shit was pretty good. That was really informative. But it is what it is. But I hope y'all are enlightened about these processes. Someone said, don't be the guy that peaked in high school. You shouldn't. You honestly should never peak. You should always be striving for greatness in every year of your life. I like New Year's because um, every New Year it makes me sit back and reflect on what I did the year prior and how I'm gonna get better. Right, and a lot of times you just need to start writing these things down. Right, because once you physically see it, instead of you doing it in your brain, it puts it into reality. You should write down how much money you have every year. You should write down how's your credit every year. You should write down all your assets every year. You should, and then also you should write down what you want your credit to be this year or next year, whatever. You should write down how much money you want. You should make how much money you want to make. You want to start a side hustle. You want to start a side business. You want to buy a business. How much money you want to make on a side hustle. All of that stuff. Once you put it down on paper, there's power in writing stuff down. Because once you take it out of your brain and put it into existence, it's like the wheels start turning. And you see it on paper, you just know what you got to do because now you have a little map, a little chart on how to get to your destination, how to get to your goals. But hey, what do I know? What I do know is it's been hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Anyways, I'm about to get off here. Thank you for your time. And yeah, if you're interested in reaching out to me, shoot me a message on Instagram. I'm flagged on some social media platforms. They won't let me message people. So if you're trying to message me on these platforms and they don't let you message, it's because I'm on a naughty list. So you can always message me on Facebook and or Instagram. Those are always good ones. And or just come to the free webinar at Wednesday. It's Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. Click the link in the bio. It's called Be Your Own Boss. Go there and sign up, and I'll see you there. And you can interact with me, and it's a little more personable, and we break some of this stuff down. So I appreciate you being here. I'll be the Zane.